Hi, it's Peggy at the Pearl Forest, and we're continuing on with our 2025 challenge, Sort It Out and Use It Up. However, we're starting early because it's actually still November 2024. But that's okay because we need to clean things out. And we're going to start with our Black Friday shopping around our house. And what I thought we would start with is book covers. We might do both of these or just one. The first one we're going to start with is this. The second one, if we do it, will be, which let's just do it because we're going to be messy. Why not? Will be green. Oh, here's another piece of napkin. So we'll get a bunch of this green wrapping paper and have it handy. We might put in some of this fabric stuff too. There's still a little more green, but that's okay. So let's put this out of our view for the most part, and I can see where we're working besides. And we're gonna go over to my wet wipes here. Okay, so we'll have this paper that I'm going to put on this book cover. It's a Japanese book that I got called the Sputnik Sweetheart. So I'm going to be covering this paper with some collage of these dyed paper towels, and I think this is tissue paper though. So I have some wet glue in here, and it's mixed with water, but not a lot of water yet. Just added more glue, but we'll add a little bit more water. Not sure if we have to. This is the glue one. This is the water one. So I poured the glue out and then I put water in my glue bottle so we can add water to this. We don't want it real runny, but we do want it a little runnier. So you can kind of play around with your consistency. And I keep it in this container with a lid, and it keeps for a long time. So when I need to do some more, I can get it out. Okay, this looks a little thick to me still, so I'm going to add a little more water. I really like putting it in the bottles because not only is it an easy way to add more water, but if there's recently been the glue taken out, it gets the rest of the glue residue. I don't like to waste things. That's part of my challenge, is to use all of what I have. And to see, I'll mark my end here. Use all of what I have and make some creative fun things. Toss the garbage here. The problem is I have way too many things. And that's part of what we're doing this year, is we're getting rid of a bunch of things, making some fun stuff, but also cleaning up the excess. So it's a little cold because I'm working in my garage, my messy art table at the moment. So I'm gonna roll up my jeans jacket sleeves to try not to get them in the glue. I should probably have something under this, but I do not. Here we go. Make use of our big Black Friday shopping items. Oh, mostly covers it. Okay, let's tear off some pieces and get started. I'm sure we have plenty. We probably could even do that one in the coffee dyed, but I think it'd be fun to do it in the green. So to do this, you want the glue really on both sides, and so you want to saturate your surface really well to begin with. I'm going to start on the spine because I want to make sure that gets a really good coat and it gets down into those creases. Matter of fact, I think I'll start with the tissue paper there because it's a little thinner. And maybe for strength, we'll just cover most of the whole thing with one piece. We do want them to wrap around the edges. And we will want this to be crinkly too, but maybe for our first layer, a little smoother. But if there's wrinkles in the material, that's good, because essentially we're going to want this to look sort of like faux leather. Okay, now I did not put glue out here yet, so we need to get that under there. Now our spine is pretty strong anyway because this is a good book strength here, but it's nice to help reinforce it so that it is really sturdy. Okay, put this piece on, and I'm not going to worry about the pieces off the end. We're going to come back after this is dry and do the wraparound parts. I find that in some ways that's easier. Okay, I do really like this color. We could actually do the whole thing just in that color because we do have plenty of it. I don't know, do I like, I don't know, I think maybe I would like just the one. That over there. I'm not sure what I used to dye this. Looks like part of it got extra crunchy. Usually that's when it gets extra dye on it. Now this Elmer's School Glue white glue works really good, I think, for the collage stuff, and it does bind well to things. However, for sturdiness, it's good to then seal it later with something that's more permanent and waterproof, because the Elmer's glue can reactivate if exposed to water, so you don't want to like spill something on your journal and have it disintegrate. This looks like this will fit here, and we're going to want several layers to this, but I think it's probably better to do them in multiple times, like let it dry in between. You can see how wrinkly it is and where the colors parts are and what we want to do differently. And when we wrap it around, we'll make sure we get the edges so that it'll stick as it wraps around. Let's see, we want this over here. I guess it's okay if I wrap over this a little bit, because that dark part still is going to show through. I'm getting, I think, a little hole right there, but we can fill that in. I think we'll save that piece for the moment. that on there. Some more dark stuff up there. Finish covering this part of the book. For our pages, then, we'll be looking through the papers that we have available. For some of our challenges, we can go back and look into our other supplies, but I kind of think the fun part of the challenge is to only use what you got. When you have some things left over, you can come back and use them at a later time and adding them to stuff you already have. Okay. So I think this will make an interesting cover. We'll have to measure for what size pages that we want, because they will not be standard pages. Sleeve in that. We have reached the cold weather time of year, so this garage workspace is not as friendly temperature wise. But we just have to dress in warmer clothes. Hope that my nose doesn't run too much in the cold air, which it sometimes does. I think it is a little bit right now. I hope you guys are having a great day. Maybe you're out Black Friday shopping. Maybe you're feeling bad because you don't have the money to go out and Black Friday shop. But if that's the case, just stop and go shop in your house. You never know what you might find. Whether it's junk mail envelopes, used postage stamps, packaging. You're probably not as cluttered and messy as I am, but you might be. My stuff hasn't been all sorted out and organized in, I'm not sure if ever. So I have a lot of things to shop with. I'm not sure what is the front and what is the back of this, and I'm not sure it matters, so I might be able to just pick that for myself. This one has a lot of darker parts and dark bits. This has these big lines, which I kind of like. Maybe we'll just add some more darker bits. Okay, let's see, I've got some darker bits over here. This to lay flat. I don't like the way that cuts off, so I'm going to kind of lead it off, connecting that, and give it some more dark there anyway. Okay. I think with this faux leather, I think it might be fun to have one of my little metal keys, which I almost threw some in here, but I didn't. But I do have some. I know right where to find them in my stuff. Okay, so there's the cover for this book. And I think I'll take it off of the green one to check to see where my line is. It'll be less likely to stick to the table. I'll put it over there. Okay, we have this one. And it's not going to be standard size unless we cut it open, it might be. Let's see. This is 11 3/4 by 9. So that would actually be a regular sized journal if I cut it open. But I think I'm going to go with the half size because it'll be more apt to be able to find paper to go in there. So let's just do this. Okay. Blue on here. This world wastes so many things, so it's nice to be able to reuse them and make them into something useful. Most of the stuff that I shopped for in my house would be considered garbage, so by recycling it into at least 3 journals and some ephemera, I think that would be all in a good day's work. Think about what kind of journals these would be fun to have. This green one just really reminds me of nature, plants, and things. And we don't have to actually use all these items together. We could just make covers in general to put in our cover stock, and ephemera in general to put in our pre-made ephemera. And that actually might be the better use of our stuff. And when we go to make something, we have what we need. These little white tear marks in between add to the cover rather than having it be something solid. It's amazing how far this stuff goes. Too bad that didn't go out further though. To making things, because you might think that this is a huge amount of stuff, which it is a fair amount, but it's also gonna make a lot of things. We have a lot of cardstock bases there to make a lot of ephemera. But I usually like to start big, which is the cover. Second big would be the signature pages. And then work down from there, like large journal cards or belly bands or large tags. Yeah, I'll come back with a small piece in there. So we make best use of our things. But I noticed in making my most recent journal that I really could use some more small pieces to go in little small pockets. And we always need pockets. And things to put in them. And It's good to have a variety of those things. So a journal doesn't have all the same pieces. Let's see. I know a lot of people would wrap these right away to the other side, but when you're dealing with messy glue, that isn't necessarily the best choice. Because then you got messy on both sides. Let's see. Trying to make sure they do go over the edge. Not only does that look best, but it also makes the edges stronger to have the extra paper wrap around. Okay, let's see, we got this corner. By putting the glue on the back and the front, I've learned that with all my different kinds of collages, is that as it soaks in, it makes it a better attachment because it kind of becomes one with the paper. Might have to flatten this out. This big jagged white part I'm getting rid of because I don't think it works as good. Stick that, oops, off to the side. And that was just one of our pieces. We can make some ephemera with this stuff as well. Now sometimes when you do a cover, you have one color inside and another cover outside, but I have so much of this green, I think I'm just going to put the same on both, and then I might do a pocket inside or something that gives the inside a little different look, and then I might have a focal image on the outside, so they end up looking a little different, but yet basically they're the same. Okay. These puffy envelopes, oops, that doesn't go over quite far enough, make a nice texture for a cover. They're tactily pleasing to most people. Not everybody likes the same textures, but a lot of people like the puffiness of them. So I think they're a popular cover material. I need to figure out how to get some electricity over to this workstation. A lot of our outlets are clear across the room, or they are behind things, so they're not as accessible. But I'd like to have an iron to flatten out some of my dyed papers, or even like this. A hair dryer can be handy for speeding up the drying process when making something. Like being able to turn this over and do the other side. Under there. You want to work that you don't have puddles of glue on top. Brush them out, spread them out. This is a good one. Put a little on this back here. Make sure that maybe I want the curved side up there instead. No, I'll just glue the whole back. Yeah, that fits better. Okay, this is nicely covered. We could do some distressing on the white veins if we'd like to do later. Oh, here's a little hole. Well, let's see. Okay. Now, let's see. We have a lot of green paper left, and a lot of paper towel left. I don't know if I can turn this over. It's really not dry. Might be able to wrap it anyway. On this one, I'm not going to cover the whole inside, but probably put a different paper inside. The brush helps push it down, get the air out so it adheres well. Really helps if you have enough glue under it. So if you have enough glue here, this I'm going to kind of miter that corner. There we go. That was folded. As it dries, we'll figure out whether this is good enough or not. So we'll put this kind of down, a little glue in there, fold it over. I need this up a little bit more. We want to get this good and adhered, but we also want to make sure that it's pretty flat so that it doesn't get bulky. This book, I think I'm going to make a sewed spine that then will be glued in here. I haven't tried that one before, but I've seen it done. It seems to work really well. It'll be a little different than our regular ones. And our journal that's gonna go in the box, that also will be different. I think it needs to be where it can be looked at while it's still in and attached, but it also could come out. Without damaging the journal. And the it's going to need a little something there. Sorry, this is getting quiet because this is, I don't know, laying quite as well as it needs to. A lot of times I think one of my best tools is my finger to spread and to feel how things are laying down. You can brush with the brush, but the finger gives it more pressure. Your fingers are used to it. You can feel amount of pressure that you're putting down. I find it works really good with collages to sort of finger paint the glue on. At least a combination of that and the brush. So I think that looks pretty good. I think while I'm here, I'm just gonna give a coat of glue to the whole inside, because that'll actually help adhere later. The paper that I'm gluing will have a toothy texture at which to adhere to. And if this connects up to this edge area like this, it also kind of blends it together, gives it a little more strength. At least I think so. Okay, so, whoops, here's this book. I think we're gonna have to find something to drape it over. Some of this is bubbled up a little bit. So we'll put it back down by having it sort of stick to the table. Maybe I'll use this little tray that I was going to use for little things I make, but maybe maybe I can just stand it actually. Okay, so this isn't dry either, but let's see if it's dry enough. Alright, this is open, but we're going to be closing it, so I just put some glue in there. Start getting it used to being closed. Okay, so put some glue on these. By folding this over, it does reinforce the edges. Okay. Let me know if you're joining me in the sort it out, use it up, or any portion thereof. Let's see, this one actually needs to go down first. I guess I'll go ahead and leave that, make it a thicker corner. Okay, and this goes down. A little bit of a sturdier corner. Now a lot of people use those, to find the one that's the lowest, that's this one. A lot of those people use those metal corners, and I might want something like this for this to make it sturdy enough. We'll see. And also we have so much of this green we can put on additional layers, especially around the edge. Okay, glue this down. And this. Now, this here does not have very much to wrap, so we're going to need to wrap from this side back around to that side. So maybe we'll put at least 2 layers of wrap around the edges. Now, if you just have a fancier paper you're using, you might not want to use it that way, but you could always wrap it first in a paper you don't care about and then cover over that later. This is folded so you see the underneath side, but that's okay because we're going to wrap again, so I'm okay with that. I'm doing this mitered fold. One, it's stronger, but it also thickens up the edge. So maybe as I do this side, I'll make it go over the edge again so it goes over to the other side. Okay, so let's find some pieces to put in here. You can see when you save wrapping paper from something, it does go a long ways. And this non-patterned one is the most versatile rather than picture images, which you might have to worry about what direction they are going. Unless you're putting them down as a background and then you're stamping over it or adding tissue paper or something else. In which case, in the end, it won't really matter because you'll see virtually none. You can even do a transparent paint wash over the top. I'm not really wrapping over the edge, am I? Okay, let's see. Let's put this one on. Whoops, that's a lot. Corner here. These brush strokes of glue will just add interesting texture as well. You can put the glue on the back or on the front or on the paper laying down here. Whatever works best for you, and it might vary from situation to situation. I want to get rid of that Scotch tape piece. I kind of go with where there is already a crack or a tear and use it. Like the big white thing there, but I think we'll be able to get rid of it. I think on both of these it would be good to have another layer. One, it's sturdier, but it also gives it more interest and character. Make sure that we've covered everything. Maybe we'll end up putting another coat on the other one that I don't. Might want to let that one dry. Edges. So are you getting together with your family, friends? Time people are often socially together. I'm enjoying getting together with all of you. I wish we could be together in person. That would be lovely. Maybe someday. I'm hoping to have some workshops, maybe even a retreat where I can get together with you guys. Almost done with this one. I think I'll let it dry this time. Oops, I'll leave this over the edge here before I wrap it around again. It's pretty wet. Yeah, really want to get this to be able to wrap around more. Need another piece. But oh look, we have lots. Okay. We'll put this one on the corner and we could wrap it around the corner. This doesn't anything hanging over the edge. Put this one there. And I see up in this corner, we also are not sticking out over the edge, so let's cover this piece. Spread this back out. All the splattery dribbles. There. So that should have reinforced all the edges, and if we need to, we'll come back and reinforce some more. So we've made this one, and we've made this one, and we'll let them dry, and we'll come back another time and do some more with our Black Friday shopping bundle. Thank you for joining me. This is Peggy from the Pearl Forest. Hope you have a lovely day. Take care. See you next time. Bye.